Bernard went 1 for 3. Again, there are the standings in that Western Division, and look at that loss column. And the Rockies with 1 less loss than L.A., 2 less than the Padres. Way inside, a ball and a strike. Bernard went 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored and an RBI last night.
Sometimes takes a while to get a beat on a pitcher. The one thing we can tell you about Marvin is he's got a little better velocity than we've been seeing lately. He threw those first 2 pitches hard.
Freeman says his mindset coming into a game is he wants to shut down the opposition quickly in the first inning and give his hitters a chance to take the early lead.
Well, as we've talked about, and Don Baylor so often mentions, zeros are so important to put up on the board with the opposition, because it really does give your offense some impetus when they know that their pitcher is holding the opposition down.
That really happened last night after giving up 3 runs in the first 2. Roger Bailey settled down in the 3rd, and then the Rockies came back with a 7-run 3rd inning. Bernard slaps that one back through the box for a leadoff single.
Marvin a little late reacting. I don't know, coming out of the shadow, maybe he had trouble picking it up, but by the time he put the glove up, that ball was already past him. Bernard goes out, and Marv just snatched a little late at it. Well,
it is 87 degrees as we start tonight, a southeast wind of 10, so very warm. And again, the sun will be a factor for Galarraga and those fans that sit down the right field line. The first pitch to Dunston is over for a strike. Sean went 1 for 4 last night. And you see his average right at 300. But Dunston's been fighting a little bit of a slump lately. Over the last 8 games, he's just 5 for 33.
Sean will be the first to tell you that his entire career he's been very streaky. He had a great streak of about 86 at-bats before that. But Sean Dunston, one of the reasons, Sean just never very patient, and when he gets into a funk, he starts chasing a lot of bad pitches. He only averages in his career about 3 walks per every 100 at-bats.
Well, without the power, then, he would be similar to an Andres Galarraga, streaky hitter who will sometimes chase bad pitches. He does not have anywhere near the power, though, of the Cat. Swing and a miss, and down goes Dunston.
Well, you can see both Jeff Reed and Jayhawk Owens say Marvin is the toughest guy to catch. Watch this ball sail. Boy, it's there, and it just takes off, and Jeff really had to battle to grab that. And again, Jeff Reed's looking into a shadow with sunlight behind, and he makes a pretty good grab. Marvin is tough to catch. He has a lot of late movement on his pitches.
Reed checking the glove, make sure there are no holes. You don't need any extra problems when trying to catch Marvin Freeman.
One thing we haven't explained, though, where you'll see Jeff Reed when he turns his glove up, part of it's orange. That's just for that pitcher to be able to pick up the target a little better. That's the only reason for that. And especially for a guy like Marvin Freeman, who does wear glasses or contacts, a little more difficult for him to see. But you see that orange in the glove presents a little better target for the pitcher to pick up.
That's not just painted in, that is a liner. Matt Williams, the batter, he grounds it foul past 3rd. Bernard was on the move from 1st.
Well, Dusty Baker's team has been having problems scoring runs, so like Don Baylor, he's going to try to get a little more aggressive on the bases. When the Giants lost 17 out of 19 before they got a couple of games in L.A., they were averaging 3.3 runs a game during that streak, and their pitchers were giving up almost 6 a game.
Williams 2 for 4 last night with 2 runs batted in his first 2 at-bats. Breaking ball and a beauty. Quickly 2 strikes on Williams. Matt Williams just 4 for 17 lifetime off Marvin Freeman, but he has a home run.
You know, Marvin on early. Against this lineup, particularly Williams and Bonds, you got to stay focused. One mistake and it's 2-0.
Looking over to make sure Bernard not running with 2 strikes. Williams with a 6-game hitting streak, and over that stretch he's hitting .429. You see that elbow heavily bandaged and also protected. He missed the All-Star game after being hit by a pitch right before they went to Philadelphia. Just missing inside, 1-2. Williams voted in again by the fans as the starting 3rd baseman, but the 3rd straight year being voted in, 2nd straight year, he didn't make it.
Watch Matt Williams keep biting his shoulder. All that is a reminder to him to keep the shoulder in. That's something he and Bobby Bonds, the batting coach, worked out. He has 3 keys to his hitting. 1 is keeping the shoulder in, 2 is seeing the ball, and 3 is using his hands. And sometimes Bobby Bonds will just yell to Matt at the plate and hold up 1, 2, or 3 fingers.
Swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts now for Marvin Freeman. Back-to-back on Messrs. Dunston and Williams.
Marvin's got good stuff right now. You see his career numbers against the Giants. 3.76 ERA, 3 wins and a loss. But we could tell the first fastball of the game that he had good stuff tonight. It's just a matter of locating now.
And now here's Barry Bonds. Bonds 0 for 2 last night with 2 walks. He has hit Freeman well, 7 for 13 lifetime.
One of the things Barry Bonds, and talking to his dad, Bobby, the batting coach, when he was struggling, he said it was basically a matter of Barry overstriding. When Barry's right, he takes a very, very short stride, much like Dante when he gets 2 strikes on him.
Gain outside, now 2-0 to Bonds.
Barry has very quiet feet, and when he just takes a very, very short stride, that's when he's popping the ball pretty well.
Somewhat similar numbers between Barry and Bobby, but Barry the much better player, you think? This one hit to right field. Bichette going over. We'll get the answer to that the next time Bonds comes up.
Second and hit batters, and the Rockies lead the National League in that category, so we could have a couple of hit batters tonight as well.
Here is Eric Young. His average now up to .352. Second to Mike Piazza in the National League. Don't know what Piazza did today, but he went into today's game with San Diego hitting .359. Inside, ball 1 to Young.
Leiter will pitch inside, and that's one of the reasons he is second only to Darryl Kyle in hit batters, and he led the National League in that category last year with 17.
There's a strike to Eric Young, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Leiter had a good year last year for the Giants, going 10-12, but his earned run average under 4, 3.82, and he had 7 complete games. Again inside.
Of course, Leiter last year made some Rockies unhappy with some comments about, he said that the Dodgers exuded class and the Rockies were arrogant, and the Rockies kind of took it out on them in that last series here in Denver.
Take it out on him again here today, and now it's 3-1 to the leadoff batter.
Got to pay him back for what his brother did to the Rockies earlier this year as well. Brother Al throwing a no-hitter against Colorado down in Florida.
Long fly ball, deep left field. This one heading for the front range.
Well, Eli could afford to go in his stride on that one. That went halfway up the bleachers. Leiter got behind 3-1 and laid one in, and the little guy hit it a long, long ways.
Half dozen home runs now for Eric Young.
Well, we mentioned Leiter led the National League coming in with 22, and Eric hit this one right on the screws and went into the trot. And Eric, when you hit it that far, you can go into your trot.
You won't give him any grief about that one.
No, not a bit. He'll be laying and wait for me when I get down there tonight.
He sure will. Here's Walt Weiss. Strike at the knees.
They say, Cam, was it okay if I go in my trot on that one? Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Another leadoff home run for Eric Young. Well, 1 run down, 6 to go. Inside, 1-1 now to Weiss. He was 3 for 5 last night, and Walt has maybe somewhat quietly put together a 6-game hitting streak. He has also hit safely in 14 of 16. Pop up on the infield on the left side. Williams going back, giving way to Dunston. 1 gone in the Rockies' first. The defense behind Mark Leiter, brought to you by Coca-Cola. In that outfield for the Giants, it's Bonds, Bernard, and Javier. Williams, Dunston, you just saw him make the catch on the pop-up from Weiss. Thompson and Peltier on the right side, and the battery of Manwaring and Leiter. Now to bring up John Vander Wal. off into the crowd on the left field side.
I was just going to say about Walt Weiss, this has probably been his most interesting year in the major leagues. He has never hit 300. He's batting .313, but he's never had as bad a defensive year as this year. So Walt's been working very hard on the defense on this homestand with Gene Glynn.
Trying to get to that comfort zone again. Vanderwall checks in time, or did he? They say now he did not, so it's 2 strikes on Vandy.
Well, Mark Hirschbeck rang it up.
Line drive center field. Bernard coming in, but he'll have to play it on a hop. And a 2-strike single with 1 out for John Vanderwall. And Mark Swanson just said that, or Mike Swanson, excuse me, just said that the home run by Eric Young was the 7th time he has led off a game with a round tripper.
61 to go to catch Ricky. Ricky Henderson was 68 in his career.
It's the 11th time in Rocky history it's happened. EY's done it 7 times. Well, the numbers are coming up right. If you play craps, and I had to ask the rules because I don't, but they say if you roll a 7, that's a good thing, especially on the first roll. And with a 7-11 on that number, and the Rockies are trying to roll a 7 tonight to break the major league mark of most consecutive games with 7 or more.
Well, the Rockies on this homestand have had 2 7-run innings and an 11-run inning. They have scored 53% of their runs on this homestand in those 3 innings. So they have indeed put together the big inning this year, this homestand especially.
Bichette looks at a ball inside. 1-1 to Dante. He got a hit last night. 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. He now has 86 runs batted in to lead the major leagues.
Got a couple guys nipping at his heels. Mo Vaughn, Greg Vaughn. Mo, I believe, has 85. Frank Thomas has 85, but he's not playing right now. And I think Greg Vaughn's up to 83.
Well, the Red Sox are hot all of a sudden. Trying to save Kevin Kennedy's job.
Well, they got to play the Whipping Boys right after the All-Star break. And what are they doing against the Yankees tonight? Yankees are ahead 5-4 in the 6th. Red Sox, like the Rockies, have a 6-game winning streak.
2 hottest teams in baseball. 2 balls and a strike to Dante Bichette. 1-0, and that one gets away from the first baseman Peltier. Vanderwall will take at least second. Now he's looking to third. He'll make it there, standing up. That'll be an error on the pitcher, Leiter, to allow Vanderwall to go all the way to third base.
Really wasn't a problem with the sun either, because the clouds had come over, so that wasn't a problem for Peltier. It was just a bad throw by Mark Leiter.
So now what do you do if you're Dusty Baker? Can you afford to bring your infield in? Looks like that's what they're going to do. A very dangerous hitter in Dante Bichette in that batter's box.
Well, I think if Dusty had more confidence in his offense, but again, they've been scuffling lately, so he's going to bring him in about halfway, but enough so they can hold Vanderwall.
And Bichette hits it down the line in right field. That will find the corner. Bichette rounds first and heads for second. Vanderwall scores easily. Bichette's going to go for a triple. Here comes the relay throw. He is out.
Well, if you're going to try to make third, that's the time to do it. It took a perfect relay from Javier to Robbie Thompson and a great tag by Matt Williams. But the Rockies get their second run. Good hitting by Bichette. He's looking for it up and to take it the other way. That's what you do with a man on third. And just a great relay throw got him. And a quick tag by Matt Williams got him.
It looks like the front leg of Bichette came up a little bit. If he might have extended it, he might have been safe at third.
But anytime you're a third base coach and the defense has to make 2 perfect throws to get you, you wave them. And again, with 1 out, that's when you try for the triple.
High pop-ups.
Fans on the concourse in left center field, either heading to their seats or towards the souvenir or concession stands. And that allows us time to tell you that day in and day out, at home or on the road, you can always count on the great taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up and never let you down. So make it a Bud Light.
It's okay to be walking around when the Rockies are in the field, but they better get back to their seats if they want to see some action when the Rockies are batting.
Yeah, just to go back to that, we didn't get a chance because Vinny hit the first pitch. But, you know, we often talk about you never want to make the first out or the third out at third base. But if you're going to gamble and try to stretch a triple, 1 out's the time to do it so you can get there and then maybe score on a fly ball like Vinny hit. And again, you just have to give credit to Javier and Thompson and Williams for making an absolutely textbook relay, cutoff, and a great throw in the tag.
It took a perfect relay to get Dante by just a hair. Well, here is Stan Javier to lead off the second inning for the Giants, and he fouls it off. He'll be followed by Robbie Thompson and Dan Peltier. 2-0 Rockies.
Well, now with that Dodger loss today, the Rockies have the best record in this 22-game go-round. They are 10-6 through 16 games.
Javier, Dave pointed out last night, likes to bunt. And he went through on that one. It's quickly 2 strikes.
San Diego and the Dodgers are 10-7, and it's been the Giants who have lost the most ground. They have gone 4-12 during this 22-game stretch. Giants will host the Dodgers for 4 beginning on Thursday at Candlestick.
Inside 1-2. Javier has been one of the hotter of the Giant batters. Over the last 14 games, he's hitting .328. But last night he went 0 for 4. And lifetime he's 0 for 3 off Marvin Freeman. 2-2. Freeman worked around a leadoff single by Bernard in the first inning, striking out Dunston and Williams and getting Bonds to hit a fly ball in the right.
Come get your pitch right here. 2-2. He had him 0-2. He busted inside, turned one over outside. Now he's got to make Javier either miss or put it in play somewhere.
He does put it in play to right field. Over goes Bichette, but he'll have to play it off the wall. Javier around first, heading for second, and he'll go in with a double.
So Stan gets his first hit of the series, went down and got a breaking ball. A little bit flat that time for Marvin. We'll watch this one, but notice he won't have the good downward movement as it just kind of rolled. The good breaking balls are the ones that have that good downward movement right at the end. You throw a flat slider low and into a left-handed batter from a right-handed pitcher. That's the ultimate hit-me pitch.
If it's flat, the hitter doesn't have to change his swing plane as much, right?
Absolutely.
Robbie Thompson, the batter.
The place you can really see that is when you're sitting in the lower boxes. The lower you sit down in the field, you can see where that swing plane doesn't really have to change that much, and you also see how many pitches are swung at and missed when it has that good late breakdown.
It was a good late breaker, but down too far. Ball 1 to Robbie Thompson.
Hey, Fossa, what was that pitch?
I don't know. That's another reason why youngsters shouldn't throw a curveball. Not only does it do damage to your arm, but when youngsters try to throw a curveball, Dave, they always do it on a sideward spin.
Yeah.
Way too high. 2-0 now to Robbie Thompson.
Now, one of the things as youngsters, especially in those formative years when they're going through so many growth changes, they talk about the plates in the bone development, especially around the elbow. And when you put a lot of stress on that, eventually it's going to catch up with you. I mean, my advice for youngsters is to learn to throw a fastball. Don't try to throw too many sinkers by turning your arm over either. Throw that good riding fastball and learn a good straight changeup, and that doesn't put much stress on your arm.
Fouled off. At what age should they start experimenting with other pitches? Maybe 16, 17?
I think 16 or 17, and as Leo Mazzoni told me, we were doing a piece for on ESPN on the split finger pitch, but he was talking about the curveball, about how if you extend your arm and then pull your arm back in towards you on your release, that curving, that cupping effect really protects your arm. It's really difficult to explain without showing, but instead of extending out on the curveball, as you're releasing, you bring your arm back in towards your body, and you create less stress.
3-1 now. A hitter's count to Thompson with Javier at second. Nobody out in the Giants' second. 2-0 Rockies. High fly ball, playable in left field for Vanderwall. He's setting up on it. Javier is not tagging, and one gone.
Well, that's a dangerous pitch to Robbie Thompson, 3-1. I guess the Rockies can be fortunate that he's in the throes of a 4 for 46 now, because this is the type of pitch Robbie Thompson hits for home runs. He got the fat part of the bat on it, but just a little bit of a dip in the swing caused it to go straight up to left field instead of into the seats.
So one big out with Javier staying at second base, and that'll bring up Dan Peltier. Peltier came on as a pinch hitter last night, went 0 for 1. Peltier now hitless in his last 11 at bats. Up the middle, Weiss has got it. He'll throw to first and get Dan Peltier. Javier moves to third, but what a play by Walter.
2 nights in a row, Weiss has ranged up the middle to take away base hits. And whereas the defense played very shabbily behind Marvin last time around, Weiss comes up with a jewel to save a run here.
I wonder if for an instant he was thinking of flipping that ball to Eric Young to make the throw, because his body was going out towards right center field, but he righted himself and made a strong throw to first.
You don't see that play too often. You see it more often with the second baseman racing up the middle, grabbing it and flipping it to the shortstop. We saw Robbie Alomar and Cal Ripken do that earlier this year.
Now Cal's playing third. Swing and a miss by Kurt Manwaring. Manwaring 0 for 2 yesterday. He is in the midst of his own struggles, going just 1 for his last 24.
Key man for Marvin, put another 0 up, have Leiter lead off next inning. So let's see if he can get Manwaring.
Into right field, long run for Bichette. He won't catch up to it. That'll score a run. Manwaring held to a base hit, but a 2-out single for Manwaring, and Javier gets the Giants on the board.
Now, Marvin had better velocity in the first inning, and second inning, either out of the stretch or whatever his problem, he's not throwing quite as hard.
That'll bring up Leiter, who's hitting 135 this year. He is 5 for 37. Strike one.
I think one of the things Marv's done this inning is he's dropped the arm angle a little bit, and that'll really make your slider flat. Started up on top a little higher, throwing about 3/4. Last few deliveries, he's been dropping the arm down a little bit.
Quickly, 2 strikes on Leiter.
That one had late break and was quick.
Now the Giants, now 11 under 500, have lost 8 of 10 and 18 of 22. Giants, as we start tonight, are 8 back of the Dodgers, with LA losing this afternoon. They are 8 under 500 away from home and 3 under 500 at the stick, and just 6 and 14 against the West. A little pop-up on the infield. Weiss taking charge. This should be the inning. It is. Buss was down in Florida, and he strikes out Eric Young to end the game and complete the no-hitter.
Charles Johnson had a great line. He said, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to jump into his arms. He was supposed to jump into my arms, so we just kind of hugged. I'd say Eric Young got some revenge, though, by hitting brother Mark a home run in the first inning.
Yeah, Mark Leiter's no-hit bid lasted about 20 seconds. 2-1 Rockies as we head to the bottom of the second. Galarraga will lead off. He'll be followed by Reed and McCracken. You think anybody will break that 56-game hitting streak?
No.
No?
Nope.
I think somebody will. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year. But I think within the next, I'm going to predict within the next 10 years, someone will break it. Galarraga hits a little looper out towards right center. Bernard catches up with it, and one gone.
2 records I think I can safely assure will not be broken. Ripken's streak.
Yeah.
Of course, they said that about Gary, but the one I know won't be broken, Nolan Ryan, 5,714 strikeouts. no chance.
Well, I think also Cy Young's 511 wins.
That one won't get beaten either.
That won't even be touched. I even think Henry Aaron, I think his home run total will never be broken.
I agree.
Here's Reed. Slaps one into left field. Bonds makes the play on that one. Oh, no, he doesn't. Reed's going to second. Here comes the throw. He's safe.
Just was about to say, don't hit it out there. Maybe the best left fielder in the history of the game, but maybe he styled just a tad too much there.
This is an embarrassing moment for a Gold Glover.
Yeah, the rule states you have to have full control of the ball, and you see Barry never does. Oops, almost. No. And Barry just a little too nonchalant. He didn't win the Gold Glove last year because of a couple of plays like that.
So a two-base error, Barry Bonds, and Reed, his former teammate, standing at second base. Here's Quentin McCracken looking at a strike. Well, a footnote on Bonds, who, as I mentioned, a perennial All-Star. He also has 5 Gold Gloves on his mantle. You know, if that happens to Albert Bell, it's pretty much the norm. But to have it happen to Barry Bonds, wow.
You know, Barry had a couple of balls last year where when the ball was hit, he just stood in his tracks and they hit off the top of the wall and made him look bad. And of course, they were played on every highlight film in America, and that was one of the things that really hurt him. He is a tremendous left fielder, though.
Oh, boy.
He's got the best range of any left fielder I've ever seen. He can play near the line and get into left center field. He sets up very quickly. He does not have an overpowering arm, but generally it's pretty accurate, and he's got a quick release.
You know what I was just thinking, though? That they always say to let a sleeping giant sleep.
Something like that.
Something like that. Anyway, Bonds, who is 0 for 3 in the series, you wonder if that might wake him up. An embarrassing moment. The 1-2 pitch to McCracken. Little squibber, but Thompson's got this one. And Reed will have to stay at second base.
Well, if nothing else, at least the Rockies are going to get Marvy out of the way this inning. And we talk so often about turning that lineup over. Almost every big rally in this homestand has been started by Eric Young.
Probably the only exception that I can think of off the top of my head is that 11-run seventh that was started by Andres Galarraga when he was hit by a pitch, not once but twice.
Yeah, and that started with 1 out.
And after that, 7 consecutive hits by the Rockies to set a new team record. Ball 1 to Marvin Freeman, who is hitting .118, 4 for 34.
Atlanta stretched their lead out to 9 games in the National League East. Chipper Jones with a base hit in the bottom of the 9th to beat Montreal 3-2. Now Atlanta goes on a 17-game road trip.
They're tough. They are vacating Atlanta so the Olympics can take center stage. The Olympics starting on Friday night. What's your favorite Olympic event?
Track and field. Probably anywhere from 100 meters up to about 1,500.
I like the decathlon.
Two most popular I know for viewing are women's gymnastics, and I think track and field probably is number 2.
I also like watching the swimming, the diving. Winter Olympics, I like watching some of the skiing events, especially the downhill. Hockey. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. I wonder who will be center stage, who will be the new stars resulting from this year's Olympic Games.
Michael Johnson, unless he pulls a muscle, will be one of them.
I think Dan O'Brien, too, is going to have a big Olympic game. I think he's going to win the decathlon.
Got a chance to play in that 4-game series here at Coors Field at the end of the year.
Going to bunt his way aboard and bunts it foul.
He had a tremendous series, as did a shortstop by the name of Rich Aurelia, who hit .563 in that series against the Rockies. The Giants won the first 2 games, and Rockies really had to rally to especially win that last one on Sunday to get into the championship series as the wild card.
There's a foul ball. That's again just past third, and quickly 2 strikes on Bernard. Bernard went to Lewis and Clark University.
Alma mater of Steve Reed.
That's right.
And I believe Steve Decker, the Giants catcher. So the scout up in that area, and of course Steve Reed originally signed with the Giants, so did Decker and Bernard. So the scout up there in Oregon has been able to pluck 3 guys out of that university.
Bernard taken in the 50th round in '92. The 1-2 pitch. Did he wave at it? No. 2-2.
Thought they had a 4th alumnus when I was looking at the Mets press guide, because Jason Isringhausen is out of Lewis and Clark College, but that one's in Illinois.
This one on the ground to the cat. He races to the bag. Freeman a little slow getting over there. And 1 gone in the Giants' 3rd.
Yeah, that's not anything new for Marvin. He sometimes is very slow getting off on that play. That's hurt him over his career. Let's watch his reaction. Freezes. Oops, time to go. A little late, Marvin. You're not going to beat Bernard there. For some pitchers, it's just automatic. Other guys, for some reason, they just forget.
So Bernard retired. And here is Sean Dunston. Pops it foul into the sellout crowd here at Coors Field. Well, they are anticipating sellout number 99 in a row here tonight. They will go to 100 tomorrow. All things are expected. Unbelievable. 100 sellouts in a row in a stadium that holds 50,000. On the ground. Long run for Ely, but then a short throw.
Talking to Rockies infield coach Gene Glenn, he said, "Can you think of anybody in the National League that has better range than Eric Young?" And I said, to be honest with you, no.
No, I can't either. He plays really up the middle, but yet still able to get to those balls in the hole. So 2 quickly gone, and that'll bring up Matt Williams. And you see assists. And Young leading the way along with Sandberg. Ryan Sandberg of the Cubs. Wow. Put the shift on for Williams. He struck out his first time up. And looks at a strike here.
3 guys that come to mind as you look at the National League. Mark Lemke has good range. Mike Lansing of Montreal. Craig Biggio and Brett Boone. See Ely now behind second. But as far as any better, I can't say that they do.
Who had the best range you saw? Is it Robbie Alomar?
I'd have to think about that a little bit. He's pretty good.
Yep. Frank White had good range with the Royals.
Sandberg in his heyday with the Cubs certainly had terrific range.
Fouled straight back. A ball and 2 strikes now to Matt Williams.
Willie Randolph early in his career with the Yankees.
One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Still biting that shoulder. Marvin takes a bite out of him, striking him out for the 2nd straight time. Giants retired it. 2 errors now by the Giants. And here is Eric Young. He hit a home run to lead off the Rockies first. Ball inside. Ely now with a 9-game hitting streak. And he has hit safely now in 37 of 39 games.
The longest hitting streak in recent years was Paul Molitor back in 1987. He hit in 39 straight. So Ely with only getting blanked twice during that span.
Favorable count here, 2-0. And he takes the ball upstairs, 3-0.
Well, Ewy's going to have to carry the E train tonight with Ellis taking a night off.
Ellis back in the station. Young back in the box. Strike one.
Ball looked up.
It was higher than the last one. Maybe that was a make good. And that's a strike. So now it's 3-2. Leiter's come all the way back.
Well, Eric, as you pointed out, we were talking before the game, third toughest to fan in the National League, so he wasn't looking slider, so he just took it.
And he takes that one too, and it's ball 4. So a leadoff walk to Eric Young. Walt Weiss popped to short his first time up. I mentioned Weiss's 6-game hitting streak. His average right now as he stands at the plate at .312. And you see what he's done over the streak, and his on-base percentage still over .400.
Manwaring's been throwing pretty well this year, 36%. We'll check out Leiter and see if he's got the high leg kick or the slide step. Kurt's always been a good throwing catcher. He won a Gold Glove back in 1993.
Young still leads the National League with his 32 stolen bases. Lance Johnson now second with the Mets, 31. A good move there. Young scrambling back.
Eric was kind of frozen there for a second by that quickness of Leiter.
And getting back, that time standing up. 3 straight throws to the bag.
Well, checking the National League board of some of your favorite teams. Cardinals ahead of Cincinnati 4-3 in the 6th. St. Louis has been playing great ball of late.
They won 4 in a row. Weiss scoring to bunt, pulls it back and takes a strike. St. Louis starting to put some distance between themselves and the rest of the Central, as you see. Houston 2 back. The Reds, the team that everyone figures is going to be right there at the end, but this is a big series for them, hosting St. Louis. They lost last night. I saw they had a $3 promotion at Riverfront last night. Marge Schott, who is no longer in control of the ball club, I guess they had a run the bases promotion too over there, and she ran the bases with Shotzi. Fouled straight back by Weiss.
Well, one of the secrets for the Cardinals is they have done so very well in their own division. They're 20-7 in the Central, and they're 6-0 against their closest rival, the Houston Astros. Last year, Houston couldn't beat Cincinnati. They were 1-11 or 1-12 against the Reds. This year, it's the Cardinals that the Astros are struggling against.
2 strikes to Weiss. Young trying to hop. Get that running lead a la Ricky Henderson over at first base. And they dig a hole now. Not going, and way outside.
Probably a setup pitch by Leiter to come in on Weiss's hands. He just floated that thing way outside. He busted one in on Quentin McCracken. And again, we tell you, with the switch hitters that don't have the big power, like a Weiss and like a McCracken, most guys like to pitch it in on their hands. Figure they don't have to worry about them turning and pulling a ball, especially home run distance.
And a toss to first. Boy, a lot of attention being paid to Eric Young, and I guess there should be. Still a 2-1 ball game here in the 3rd. Leiter wants to keep it close.
Rockies come in number 2 in the National League in stolen bases with 102. Houston has 113.
Popped up behind home plate. That'll find the seats.
Leiter indeed came right in on Weiss' fist, and Walt just fought it off.
Interestingly, last night, Neither team hit a home run. First time no home runs have been hit here at Coors Field since the 27th of April. First time the Rockies haven't hit a home run here in a game since the 25th of May. But a home run already here tonight. And now a ball.
Bruce Fremming, second base umpire, called it. So Eric Young doesn't steal a base, but he causes enough problems that Leiter. We'll take a look at Mark and see if we can spot it. A little flex of the knee there. He dipped the knee before he stepped off the rubber. So Fremming says balked.
Well, that's subtle, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is subtle. That's why those umpires just hawk in on those pitchers.
1-2 pitch. Again, Weiss gets just a piece of it.
Leiter, and now he's pounded him in twice hard. Now the guessing game goes again. Does he maybe try to throw the changeup away? The only problem with throwing a changeup here is that gives Weiss a much better chance to pull that ball on the right side to get Young to third base.
That's what Walter's trying to do here. If he can't get a hit, he'll sacrifice himself to move Young up 90 feet. Reaches out and pokes it towards left, but it's twisting foul and again into the seats.
Can't do anything else with that pitch but do that. That's the thought process. That's what makes it tough on a hitter here. You're trying to do one thing, but that pitcher and catcher are also aware. And, you know, Walt just sprayed that one foul. Some guys actually have the ability to hit foul balls whenever they want to. I wish I would have. There was a guy named Luke Appling once that was supposed to be the master at it.
Again, the 1-2 pitch, and he got him on the inside heat. So Weiss, a rare strikeout for him. Young stays at second.
Pretty good job of pitching by Mark Leiter right there. He just tied him up inside. So Leiter freezes Eric Young at second base, and that's a big out for Mark Leiter.
That'll bring up Vanderwall. He singled and scored his first time up. Leiter, an amazing story. He missed 86, 87, and 88 with shoulder injury. He was in the Baltimore organization at the time. Then he went on to Detroit with the Yankees. He was with California last year, or 2 years ago, I should say. And came over to San Francisco last season.
Sean Dunstan going to come in and talk to him because Eric Young was taking kind of a daring lead. I'm going to tell you a story about Luke Appling one time, the guy that could hit foul balls anytime he wanted to. Yankees, and he requested 2 tickets for his friends, and the Yankees turned him down. Oh. Well, in those days, the home team supplied the baseballs for batting practice.
And this one spanked into the corner. No catch by Javier. Young will score easily from second, and Vanderwall pulls in with an RBI double.
Well, Javier thought he was going to get it, but so many outfielders start for balls, think they're going to get it. Steve Finley was talking about that, and then that ball takes off and that little extra jump. And John Vanderwall with an RBI double.
I could see where your story was going, though, with Luke Appling. All right, so you get all the balls supplied by the Yankees, and what's he do with them?
Well, Luke Appling decided to hit last, so all of his teammates could hit first. In those days, the visitors took BP last, so the rest of the team hit, and then Appling proceeded to hit 50 consecutive baseballs into the stands, and it cost the Yankees. Baseballs were about $2 a piece in those days. It cost the Yankees $100, and he just put the bat down and walked off the field.
Oh boy, Vanderwall at second base. I'll tell you, Don Baylor's looking like a real genius right now. It seems like everybody he puts into that lineup from his bench comes in and produces. Tonight, it's John Vanderwall's turn.
Well, you don't want to look at Larry Walker's injury as any kind of blessing in disguise. But if there's been one little silver lining, it's given guys like McCracken and Vanderwall some more times at the plate. And consequently, I think the Rockies' pinch hitting is going to pick up some and keeps these guys motivated a little more, knowing they're going to get a chance to play once in a while.
Bichette doubled home a run his first time up, tried to stretch it to a triple, and was gunned down in a perfect relay. So Bichette with hit another RBI. He now has 87, if you're still keeping track. With 13 away from 100 already.
Well, once again, that error by Bonds allowed the Rockies to turn the lineup over last inning, and Eric starts off with a walk, a balk, and a double, and the Rockies have a run.
So even though that error by Bonds did not cost the Giants in the second, it's costly here.
Outs at Coors Field are very precious. Get 27, and on defense, every one you get, you cherish.
2 balls, 2 strikes. So Bichette with 2 strikes on him. He's got Leiter right where he wants him. Vanderwall's going, and the throw to third. And they got him, and a strike out of Dante Bichette. Bichette might have been a little bit surprised to lead off for the Giants in the fourth. 3-1 Rockies. And again, here's Dave.
Here's Berry, and the first pitch is a strike. With that Bichette and Castilla, Galarraga's hitting 6. And Berry will try to atone for a little mistake he made in left field last inning. The 0-1. And this one's going to fall safely into right center field between Bichette and McCracken, and Berry will have a double. Didn't hit it all that well, but he found the exact gap between the two of them. So Bonds with a lead double here in the fourth inning. Rockies leading 3-1. Stan Javier will hit. Hits are even at 4 apiece. Giants have made 2 errors.
Well, it's the third time now in 4 innings the Giants have their lead man aboard. Marvin worked around the lead single in the first, but couldn't get around the lead double in the second.
Javier, a good runner. Vinny got it, throws, and got him, and I think Javier pulled a muscle. Javier, just before he got to first base, appeared to strain something. And a nice play by Vinny, but Javier, just as he's arriving at first base, you could see him all of a sudden grab something.
Let's take a look at him. We've got him isolated the entire way down the line. He's taken off. This is not a sacrifice. He's trying to beat this out for a base. Oh, right there. You saw about 3 strides. Without that, he might make it. But that, just from the appearance anyway, it looks like a hamstring injury.
Well, he's also had a calf injury previously. I'll tell you, in 1972, I laid down a bunt against the Chicago Cubs in Ronnie Sano, and I knew I had a base hit. I took 1 step out of the batter's box and thought I got kicked by a mule, and I found out I tore my Achilles tendon. Couldn't figure out what happened. Thought I'd dropped the bat on my heel. But Javier obviously pulled something in the leg, and he was out for a while because of a calf pull, so we don't know if it's calf, hamstring, could be thigh, any number of things.
According to their media notes, he was on the DL from April 16th to the 29th with a strained right hamstring. And I don't know if this is the calf or the hamstring, but he's in obvious pain, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to continue. Mark Latendre, the trainer of the Giants, is over there tending to Stan Javier.
I don't think there's any doubt that he's not going to continue. No. They have a choice of Dax Jones, a reserve outfielder, or they could maybe move David McCarty to right field, but I don't think there's any way. There's no way that Javier is going to be able to continue in this one.
Let's see at what point in the stride does he start to favor. Right about there. And it looks like, again, it's that right leg. Just from that replay, kind of limped in on the right leg and then fell over. And now they're elevating the right leg and carrying him off completely.
It was just a matter of whether they were going to take a stretcher or try to do this. That was the only question. So Javier, he's had a couple of rough weeks. His mom underwent stomach surgery in St. Louis. She has cancer, and Stan's been bothered by that. And now this is for the Giants, who have had problems all year ever since Glenn Allen Hill went out. This is just another crippling blow to them.
Javier has really been swinging well. As I outlined earlier, before the double, he was hitting .328 over the last 14 games.
Well, Bobby Bonds helps out. Rockies decide they're going to bring their infield in with a 3-1 lead and Robbie Thompson up. Swung on and missed. A strike. Marvin would love to get a strikeout here.
Well, he has 3 so far. Twice he's gotten Matt Williams.
Robbie had a pitch to hammer on last time, but lifted a medium deep fly ball to left field.
Bond's great speed at third base.
1 ball and 1 strike to Robbie Thompson.
Bond's one of those 5-tool athletes. He can do it all.
Marvin 2-1 ratio in the strikes. Popped him up foul out of play, and it's 1-2.
Earlier today, the Pirates walloped Chicago 10-5. Dave told you about Atlanta beating Montreal 3-2 to widen the gap in the East to 9 games now. St. Louis leading Cincinnati 5-3 in the 8th, and the Mets have polished off the Phillies 6-3.
Now with the Expos coming back to the pack, look at this pitch first. 1-2, and it's bounced to Weiss. He's got it, and will freeze Bonds, and Cat tags him out. So moving the infield in pays off here, and we'll see if Marvin can get Peltier to save the run.
Well, Walt makes a nice play on this one. Sharply hit, but with the infield again in, Weiss able to go over and make the play. The throw a little wide of the target, but a heads-up play by the Cat as he comes in and tags out Robbie Thompson. That's a big out.
Peltier out in front, 0-1. Well, Marvin got a key out in the second inning, getting Peltier on a good play by Weiss, but then Manwaring got the 2-out hit. We'll see if Marvin can get that 2-out hitter here. Bouncer to the hole. Weiss got it, but I don't think he's ever going to get him. Yes, he did! What a play by Weiss! I didn't think he had a chance. Marvin will wait for him right there.
Walt Weiss to end the inning and the threat for the Giants in the 4th. In the hole. Look how far he goes to get it, fully outstretched. Now, mere mortal shortstops at this point would just stuff it in their back pocket and forget about it. But Weiss with a strong throw, and Galarraga with a great stretch at first, and they nip Peltier by less than a half stride. What a play. Wow.
I think Peltier is going to have to try somebody besides Weiss. Walt picked him up the middle in the second, and that is one of the plays of the year, folks, right there. So the Rockies play the infield in and save a run. Vinny takes high. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, Walter, all that extra work is starting to pay off. He and Gene Glenn have had a lot of sessions on this homestand. It began with Weiss making back-to-back errors in 2 consecutive games. Peltier should grab this, and Vinny 0 for 2.
Rocky Mountain News Automotive Classified section runs 7 out of 10 new and used auto ads every day. If you live here, you get it. For home delivery, call 1-800-892-NEWS.
Well, Mark Lardner trailing 3-1 here in the 4th. Don said he's thinking about maybe giving Vinny a day off tomorrow, but Vinny 0 for 2. It'll probably be predicated on his last couple of at-bats. Cat fouls it back, 0-1. He thought Vinny's bat got a little slow last night, and he's hit 2 pop-ups today.
He probably wore himself out in that San Diego series, going 9 for 18 with 4 home runs.
You know, Baylor has a great sense. I mean, yesterday, Ellis Burks, he said that was the first time I've seen Ellis jumping at the ball. And sometimes that's just a symbol of tiredness. He said Ellis had that all-star experience, and it may have just caught up with him. So tonight, chance to give Ellis a night off, rest the hamstrings, rest the back, and rest the bat. 1-1 to Galarraga. Liner to center, but right to Bernard. So Andres has hit it to Bernard twice.
This day in Rockies history brought to you by Chrysler Dodge and Chief Eagle. It was on this date a couple of years ago. The Rockies walloped the Cardinals 15-4. Lance Painter picked up the win, and Galarraga had 2 home runs. Dante also had 1 in that game.
Remember that. That was right after the All-Star game. The Cardinals came into Mile High Stadium at the time, and the Rockies just bombed them 4 straight. Rockies seemed to like that post-All-Star game. Shooting for their 6th in a row since the All-Star game, and 7th overall, having beaten L.A. 3-0 behind Kevin Ritz just prior to the All-Star game.
There's to Norm Clark's column that Dante Bichette especially likes the post-All-Star game. The game after the All-Star game, Bichette, I'm just trying to remember the numbers off the top of my head, but it was something like a 700 average or something.
Yeah, 10 for 14.
Yeah, unbelievable.
That's of the 3 All-Star games that Dante has gone to. Dante, kind of funny, he went 0 for 3 games before the All-Star game, and then had that 4 for 6 game with 5 RBIs, then went 0 for his next 3 games. Then got a hit yesterday to drive in a run, and an RBI double today. Reed, a strike, 3-1 to Jeff.
Thinking about that play by Weiss, Dave, and Marvin in the last couple of starts has not had a great deal of help from his defense, but boy, they've helped him out here tonight. And you're not going to see a finer play from a shortstop than what we saw from Walt Weiss.
Reed takes a strike as Leiter went off speed, 3-1. Mark has not been challenging behind in the count. He challenged Eric Young on a 3-1 pitch leading off, and Eric hit a long home run off him. 3-1 Rockies, bottom of the 4th inning. Reed, high fly ball, fairly deep right field, but playable for Dax Jones, who just took over out there for Stan Javier. And that'll do it as the Rockies go in.
I hate to say I told you so, but about a week ago, I think I said something about Montreal coming back to that pack. Marvin's been helped by that defense tonight, and he hasn't walked anybody.
Man wearing to right. Dante beats a hasty retreat and grabs it for the first out. Well, 2 of the keys we talked about were no walks and good defense, and that certainly has held true, but Mark Leiter settled in fairly well after a rocky beginning.
Well, we've got a baseball trivia quiz for you, brought to you by the Colorado Lottery, who are the only 2 brothers in Major League history to both pitch a no-hitter.
We mentioned that Mark's brother Al has pitched a no-hitter, so it's fairly apropos tonight.
We can tell you that Mark has not, so it's not the Leiters.
Pop foul, I think it's out of play, and it will be. And we'll also tell you that it was not Dizzy Dean or Paul Dean, but Paul Dean, the lesser-known brother, did pitch a no-hitter. So that's as far as we're going to give you. We can tell us. I'll tell you, it's not the Necros, Joe and Phil.
Starting to work about the Perrys. It's not them. We don't have many brother combinations left.
Gaylord pitched one. The 0-2. Up the middle, Weiss over, has it, and walled on to first, and Walt Weiss throws out Mark Leiter. 2 up, 2 down here in inning number 5.
Weiss has made 4 plays tonight, 2 of them pretty spectacular.
Yeah, he's been in much better rhythm. The only time he made a bad throw tonight is after he fielded the ball. He looked at Bonds, and that just threw his rhythm off a little bit. He threw it up the first baseline, but Cat came off, grabbed it, and tagged the runner. We'll give you a report on Javier when we have one. I don't think it takes a real rocket scientist to know that it's some kind of a muscle pull.
Well, if he had the hamstring before, sometimes.
Well, he also did. He definitely had a calf problem that, he didn't go on the DL with that, but he missed some time. In fact, that was one of the reasons for the switch from center field to right field for Stan, because he's normally a center fielder, but because he had the calf, Bernard went into center. Tapper foul, 1-1 to Marvin Bernard. Born in Nicaragua, parents fled when he was 12 years old because of the war situation. Dave told you, 50th round draft choice, but he has been a surprise. Another one of those guys who nobody thought much of, but he thought a lot of himself. Fly ball center, McCracken or Vanderwall. Q grabs, and Marvin has a 1-2-3 inning here in the 5th. Game's home run belongs to Eric Young, leading off the ball game. McCracken out in front of an off-speed pitch. No balls and 1 strike. Marvin Freeman, through 5 innings, is throwing 60 pitches, so that's a good ratio, average of 12 an inning, and he's throwing 13 out of 19 first pitch strikes.
No walks.
McCracken fouls it off, 0-2. Quinton, 359 in his last 11 starts. Don Baylor gives Quinton a lot of credit. He said, you know, all that time he was sitting on the bench, he still came out all the time and worked with Ken Griffey. Spent time in cages, hitting, and more hitting, and it's starting to pay off for Quinton. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He goes lighter with that soft pitch away again, but he's done the same pattern on Weiss, so look for something coming back in hard now to McCracken.
You kind of need a third base coach who would notice some of those patterns. Could almost give you a sign down there at third base to say, all right, this is the way he's going, this is his pattern. Look for something in, like what you're saying, and then because if a batter knows that's the pattern and knows it's going to come in there, it gives them a better chance.
Sometimes wonder why the hitters themselves don't know. Got a little interesting comment on that, though, after this pitch. Basically, I thought when I played that, you know, I was a very intelligent player. I didn't make mental mistakes. But until I got away from the field and up in the booth and could watch games without the emotional pressure of trying to succeed every day, I didn't really know what pitchers were trying to do to me. Now I do, but it's too late to help me.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier from up here, folks, than it was down there. Quinton again takes inside as Leiter continues to try to bury him inside. He's been working the same pattern to McCracken and Weiss tonight.
It's one of the great adages in baseball. The farther you get from the field, the easier it is.
You got that right.
I'll tell you what, that pitch, when you're standing right down there at the plate, it might not look on TV like it's going that fast.
And McCracken works a walk after being down in the count, 0-2.
Still remember a time in Toronto in a simulated game. And first, I'll give you the answer to our trivia question, brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Lotto jackpot tomorrow worth $1.5 million. The only 2 brothers to both pitch a no-hitter, Ken and Bob Forsch.
Bob had 2.
That's right. I can remember in Toronto watching a simulated game. Dwayne Ward was trying to come off the disabled list, and I was standing at the batting cage, and you're used to seeing batting cage type speed, and it looked to me like Ward was throwing at 100 miles an hour. And Paul Splittorff, who was working with me at the time, he looked over at one of the coaches of Toronto, and he said, man, he's lost all his velocity. And I looked over and I said, he's what? He said, he's only throwing about 80. And I went, oh man, what would 100 look like? What would 90 look like?
Yeah. Best thing about this job is no more 0 for 4s.
Now you say that and Split in Kansas City.
Marvin lays down a good one, and that's a good sign. He's been struggling with his bunting.
Split in Kansas City, they used to say, well, why don't you get back out there and pitch again? And being a left-hander, he said, if they put that protective cage up in front of the mound again, I'll get back out there. But until then, forget it.
Eric Young got things off to a bang tonight. He was coming off a 4-hit game from last night. A 3-1 pitch from Mark Leiter in the first inning. See ya. He hit that one 411 feet. They measured it out, about 15 rows up.
Leiter's now given up 23 home runs this year, the most in the National League, and The Giants have given up 121, also the most in the National League.
Giants led last year as well, so McCracken goes scrambling back. Castillo got his 3rd win of the year yesterday. Alan Watson of the Giants is out on a rehab assignment. He's had a bad elbow. Keeps working EY in. 1 ball, no strikes.
What's good about that list, you did not see any Rockies pitchers giving up home runs. Freeman has given up 16 this year, so he's close.
1 ball and no strikes to Eric Young. McCracken, the runner at second. Robbie Thompson keeping him close. Bouncer, and Thompson's got him and throws, and safe. Robbie Thompson started to go to third. He had him, but for some reason, maybe McCracken was in the baseline. He threw a bouncer to Matt Williams. That'll be a fielder's choice, and we'll see if... And they give an error to Robbie Thompson.
Well, he really soft-tossed it over to third instead of firing it to Matt Williams. Made it very difficult for Matt to try to handle it. So an error on Thompson. That's the 3rd error by the Giants today.
And I think exactly what happened. Robbie was going to gun it, and then all of a sudden McCracken was right on the baseline, so he tried to guide it around McCracken. And you don't see Robbie do that often. McCracken froze because it looked like Leiter was going to grab that ball. So the Rockies, in one way or the other, have taken advantage of both the previous errors, and now Weiss will try to do some damage here. Young driven back by a throw.
Double steal?
Nah, I don't think so.
1 out?
I mean, Don's been doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe if Weiss gets 2 strikes, but again, we've seen that more tendency out of the bottom part of the order. Certainly got enough speed out there right now. There it goes. Weiss base hit to right field. Here's McCracken. Eric Young go round to third. 4-1 Rockies. And once again, the Giants pay for a mistake.
Now the running game was going. Young was off from first base, but then Weiss with the base hit. That easily gets McCracken home, and Eric Young hustles into third. Look at that. 5. I mean, they are almost 100 runs ahead of Houston and Atlanta. Holy moly.
Yeah, 129 ahead of the National League average. John Vanderwall. He's had a night, single and doubled, scored 1, knocked 1 in. See if Weiss goes. Does not. Vandy takes inside, 1-0. Elsewhere today, Oakland beats Seattle 12-5 to slow down the Mariners a little bit. Mariners had closed within 2 of Texas. Rangers are leading California 4-2 in the 7th. See, the Yankees are getting back on the winning track as they're about to beat Boston.
Cleveland, after losing last night at Kansas City, beating the Royals 7-3.
Poor Detroit. Tigers won 10-9 yesterday to snap a losing streak, but Milwaukee is winning 14-2 tonight. Tigers' ERA is zooming back near 7. Weiss a throw.
Mill after tomorrow, it's on to San Diego for 4, then right back home again. Bautista starting to warm up for the Giants.
Inside to Vanderwall, 2-0.
Good count to send a runner if you want to.
Every inning the Rockies have scored, the leadoff man is reached. Of course, Eric Young in the first reached in a big way with the homer. Eric led off the third with a walk. McCracken led off here in the 5th with a walk. It up. Ooh, boy, Vandy had a pitch. Sean Dunston, if he can find it in the twilight, will grab it, and does. Vandy will see that pitch in his sleep tonight. Even if Weiss does steal, they may walk Dante. Of course, the last time the Padres did that, Vinny hit a grand slam.
That's right.
That's one thing about the Rockies. I mean, there's not a lot of respite in the lineup. You can't pitch around too many guys. You kind of got to box score them and see who's been hot and who's not.
Matt Williams had a great quote in the paper today saying, hey, phooey on this Coors Field stuff. This is a great offensive ball club in Colorado.
Kerry today was doing the Cubs bar. He says, hey, I don't understand all this criticism of Coors Field. He said, 50,000 fans a night, and every night your club's got a chance to come back and win. That's what baseball's all about.
That's what the needs right now. He's right.
Oh, well, those that are going to continue to complain are not going to change their minds, so... Pitch to Dante. Whack, but foul to left field. 0-1.
I like what Don Baylor says, too. Go ahead, let them complain. The more they complain, the more it gets into their heads, and the bigger advantage we have at Coors Field. Hey, look, fans, we don't have to defend it. You know what it's like. You know how great it is here. Just keep coming out in record numbers. We'll keep bringing you the broadcast from Coors Field, and we'll all just enjoy it together. It might be just our little secret here.
Yep. The only game the Rockies have lost in the last couple of weeks at home, they were down 13-0 in the 8th inning. Before the dust had settled against the Dodgers, they had the tying run at the plate. 13-10 final. Weiss draws yet another throw from Leiter. With 87 runs batted in, including the one tonight. Long ways, but foul to left field. This is out near the Buckaroos concourse.
You just can't take a stroll out on that concourse, folks. Take your glove with you when you're going to that concession stand.
Yeah, get some of those hard hats we used to wear around here when Coors Field was under construction.
That's right.
0-2 to Bichette. He's pulled the trigger just a little quickly. Pitch out, runner going, throw is high, and Weiss has the stolen base. I think Manwaring was so aware of the double steals the Rockies have been pulling lately that he glanced at third, and it caused him to make a bad throw to second.
Well, look at him look down at Eric Young. Are you going? Nope. All right. I'm going to fire it now. Too high. Thompson comes well in front of the bag. Weiss almost slides by the bag. And Young, no way he's going. He just watches the play, and Weiss with the stolen base.
You know, Baylor gave Dante 2 strikes.
Now base hit, and 2 more come in.
Dante fouls off a tough pitch to keep the count at 1-2.
He is one of those guys, Dave, that can foul off tough pitches. I still remember that classic battle between he and Todd Worrell in that 16-15 game against the Dodgers.
Rockies, bottom of the 5th. Dusty Baker, the only manager in baseball I know that wears wristbands, is almost can't look.
Hard work.
Dante fouls off another tough pitch. That was right in on his hands, but he managed to make contact.
Thermal corner pretty good.
Buddy Jim Janicelli, who came up the other day. I know you played with him in a golf tournament last week. Send it up.
We'll find Chrysler dealers around. Thank you, Jim. He's a good golfer.
His brother's not too bad either.
Yeah, his brother, he says, is even better than him. Get that team together again for that Rockies tournament.
Dante fouls another tough pitch off. Leiter has not given in, but Dante has been able to spoil 3 tough ones in a row. Yeah, I can figure next year in that Rockies charity tournament will be you and Jim Janicelli and Alex, and you'll probably go out and find the world's greatest putter somewhere, and you guys will win it by about 37 strokes.
Finished third this year.
Sandbaggers.
We had fun. That was a lot of fun. Played Fox Hollow. What a great golf course.
Come you didn't want me on your team?
I've seen you golf.
It's bad. And Dante strikes out. So Leiter won that battle. So the Rockies get one so far. Marvin again throws strike one, which has been a good key for him. 14 out of 20 pitches. Larry Walker trying to do a little more each day. He's been throwing. Dunston out towards Eric. Young up and on, and one out. Let's check out our front office news, brought to you by Office Depot. Lenny Dykstra had back surgery yesterday for spinal stenosis. Verdict will be out for quite a while whether he can come back. Jeff Blauser out 6 weeks with a broken hand, so the injury's starting to mount for the Braves. And Tommy Lasorda, good to see him back at Dodger Stadium yesterday. And speculation is he could be back right around the 1st of August. Nice, Larry. I think Larry's trying to find a way to get on Sports Center highlights each night. He was the bat boy the other day. Who's his latest victim? Who's he standing next to driving totally nuts? Jason. Well, Jason's half nuts too, so that's a good duo right there. Let's see, what could be the caption? Pop fly. Could be tough, though. Cat going out. Cat can't get it. So out in the triangle, and Jeff Reed hustles down to cover first base. So Matt Williams gets a broken bat looper. It's very difficult for that first baseman looking over his head. And with Eric Young playing way up the middle on Matt Williams, he just couldn't get there. See how far Eric's coming from, and Dante is not going to get there, and Cat trying to make that play, but that's very difficult straight over your head. Let's see, what would they say on Sports Center on the tees tonight? And we have a nose for the news. Yes, I think we're pretty good. Charlie Stark reminds us, with Jeff Blauser going out tonight with a broken hand, it was the ball off his bat that Walker crushed into the stands, or into the fence in center field. Bonds doubled his last time up. Hard hit to EY to Walt for one. Back to first. Nope. Walt. Did it go in the thing? Yep. Weiss is going to get hooked with another error. So Bonds will go to second. Everything looked good on that one. Eric gave Walt a good feed, but Walt gets hooked with his 23rd error of the year.
Watch the slide. Watch this hard slide at second base, and this disrupts the throw. Look at William. He's out easily. Now, the rule is that you have to be still within distance or arm's length of that bag. You still have to be in contact with the bag at second base, and Williams was. He still got his hand over on the bag. They call that the Hal McRae rule, because McRae used to go in and take out second baseman or shortstops trying to make the pivot, and he wouldn't even be anywhere close to the bag at second base. So they kind of changed the rule around, and they said you've got to at least be able to make contact with the bag at second base when you're making that slide. So the slide by Williams caused the throwing error by Walt Weiss.
And here's Dak Jones, who is hitting in the spot vacated by Stan Javier. So the Rockies get hung with their first error of the night. Well, one of the problems McRae had was he was doing it in the playoffs, which was getting a lot more attention. I remember he went in and got Tony Fernandez of the Blue Jays. Jones fouls it off on the right side, 1-1. So let's see if Marvin can pick up Walt, because Walt has certainly picked up Marvin a couple of times tonight. strike. I know you had some info on Dax Jones.
Yeah, he went to Creighton University. He was all Missouri Valley Conference. Picked up by the Giants in '91 in the 4th round of the draft. Spent all last year with Phoenix, where he hit .267. Not much as far as power is concerned for Dax Jones. Just 2 home runs last year.
You know, they're working on Matt Williams' shoulder. It may have got caught by either Weiss's knee or his foot with that hard slide in. And Matty trying to see if it's okay. And Jones draws a walk. First one allowed by Marvin. So Robbie Thompson will hit. He was trying to break out of a 4 for 47. But he is capable. So Marvin's going to have to make some pitches here. First time in the ball game the Giants have had 2 runners on at one time in an inning. Ooh, Robbie had a high slider. No balls and a strike. Marvin's got to get that arm angle up and get that ball to going down. Throw it from the side, and that thing comes up there spinning, about like Willie Blair threw Vinny Castilla for that grand slammer last week. No balls and a strike. Way outside, and it gets away. It'll be a wild pitch, and Bonds moves to third, Jones to second.
Bonds just shaking his head. Trying to put a little extra on this one, and it gets away and gets by Reed. And that takes the force play out on the bases. The only force now is at first base.
A ball and a strike to Robbie Thompson. And he fouls it off, and it's 1-2. So Marvin ahead in the count.
Dave will run down all those National League scores in case you just joined us. Earlier today, San Diego beat Los Angeles 10-1. If the Rockies hang on and win this one, they would be just 1 half game out of the lead in the Western Division and in sole possession of second place. LA would still be in first.
Thompson a base hit to left. 1 run is in. Vanderwall was going to throw and couldn't get it out of his glove. And it's 4-3, and the Giants make the Rockies pay for their mistake. Marvin served one right up in the middle of the hitting zone.
Well, he got one by Thompson right about in that area, but not the second one. And Vanderwall looking like he's going to come home, and then he decides, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep that other runner at first base. And then he makes a wild throw, but Galarraga backs it up.
4-3. We got ourselves a ball game, folks. Peltier has been robbed twice by Weiss tonight. Well, for a while, Walt was in that mode when he was making a lot of errors, and it wasn't hurting the club, but this one does. But you got to give Matt Williams some credit for that hard slide, too. The Giants struggling, and Williams still playing hard. Rockies bullpen not active yet, although there's kind of some stirring around down there. Peltier out in front, 1-1. You know, sometimes when that defense picks up a pitcher, sometimes the pitcher has to pick up the defense. And Freeman walked Dax Jones, who doesn't look like he has a lot of power, and then he made a bad pitch to Robbie Thompson.
After a wild pitch to move the runners up into scoring position.
Bouncer to Weiss. Walt's got this one, so Peltier's tried Weiss all 3 times with no luck. But the Giants get back in this one with a 2-spot in the 6th. We go to the bottom half. 4-3 Rocky. Talked to Jerry yesterday. He's been bothered with some back problems, but he said he's been getting better with some treatment.
That's good. Class man, isn't he?
Rockies 1-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Vinny 0 for 2.
Well, if I've ever told the story.
1 ball, no strikes.
When I came in to interview for the job here in Colorado, of course, I'm trying to impress Mr. McMorris, and I felt like he was trying to impress me with the Rockies organization and his vision for the future of baseball here in Colorado. Well, he impressed me.
Did you hire him?
Yeah.
Did you hire him as the owner of the Rockies?
Fortunately, I don't have to write his paycheck every 2 weeks. Well,
go ahead.
I was just going to say they made it official. The 99th consecutive sellout here tonight. Over 50,000 again.
Williams throws out Castillo. Well, big inning for Mark Leiter. His teammates have gotten him back in the ball game now, and he's got to try to put a 0 up so they can come back. Galarraga's hit 2 balls to center field tonight. Appears he's just missed him, Dave. He's been thinking right center, trying to go that way. So Vinny is 0 for 7 in the series.
Still 9 for 25 on the homestand. With 4 home runs and 9 runs batted in.
Not too shabby. 1 ball, no strikes to Galarraga.
Well, you talked about Detroit. 17-2 Milwaukee now over the Tigers in the 8th.
2-0 to Galarraga. Darren Holmes, who started to throw in the Rockies bullpen. Marvin's stuff looked like it started to get flat again last inning, so I'm sure Don noticed that as well. Galarraga fouls it back. 2-1.
Amazing, though, how many runs have come by the opposition with 2 outs, and sometimes with 2 outs and 2 strikes.
Well, the difference in this game right now, if you want to look back at one thing, though, is when Don Baylor elected to play the infield in with a 2-run lead, and they saved a run thanks to a great play by Walt Weiss. Galarraga, long drive to center field, and the cat knows it's gone. He's in his trot. Welcome back, Andres.
Three home runs now for the Cat. 79 runs batted in. Oh boy, can he launch a ball. Watch this one. Look at the location. Middle, and goodbye. Yee.
You know, the last 4 home runs Galarraga's hit in this ballpark have gone right over that 415 sign in center field.
Now, I don't want you going into that clubhouse giving the Cat a grief about going into his trot.
No, when the Cat hits one, I just look at him. If he's in his trot, I know it's gone. Yeah. He hits enough in batting practice to know when they're gone.
He hits enough in the season.
Reed takes a strike, 1-1. So the Rockies get 1 back of those 2 they gave up in the top of the 6th.
Well, the Cat is a powerful man. Powerfully built. All that extra conditioning work he's been doing in the offseason really paying off.
Reed pops it up. Playable for Peltier or Thompson. Robbie's got a beat and the ball for the 2nd out. And I think Jeff Reed, just like John Vanderwall last inning, may see that pitch in his sleep tonight. There have been a lot of middle pitches that have been missed tonight. Galarraga did not.
Neither did Eric Young.
Well, McCracken trying to get aboard here.
Well, at least the Rockies got at least 1 of the 2 back. It is a right hamstring strain, we're being told, for Stan Javier.
1 ball, no strikes to Quentin McCracken. Milt Thompson came out in the on-deck circle. And then he went back in to talk to Don Baylor. I think maybe he's going over the scouting report. And now Ellis Burks has grabbed the bat. Swung on a miss, strike 1. Of course, Ellis, Don's looking over. And Thompson comes out. One thing Don could be thinking of is if I have to save an ace pinch hitter for late, Ellis Burks hit a 2-run homer off Rod Beck to win a game in San Francisco last time. So Don may keep Ellis in reserve. Of course, he doesn't have Vanderwall tonight because John's playing.
He could also, if Q doesn't keep this inning alive, be thinking of possible double switch and taking McCracken out of the ball game and inserting Burks in center field.
2-2. Don sitting there explaining it to Ellis. That was one of the things the last 4 years I played in the major leagues. I didn't play very much. I sat next to coaches and bugged them all the time. 3-2. Why is he doing this? Why are we doing this? Just so you can kind of absorb.
So now you sit next to me and bug me all the time.
That's exactly right.
It's all right. I like it.
Jackie Moore, Rockies bench coach, catching coach, talking to Don. And McCracken does his job again. Q starting to fit in nicely in that 8-hole. Draws a walk. I think Don wanted to make a pitching change anyway, so he gets Milt Thompson up. I would think in this situation, I mean, you could always double switch, but if you send McCracken and he gets thrown out, then you lose the pinch hitter unless you leave Thompson in for defense. But Milt struggled defensively in the one game he played, so my guess is McCracken doesn't run here, although Leiter will probably throw over about 5 or 6 times. One ball, no strikes to Thompson. One of the things that Ken Griffey's been working with Milt is keeping the upper part of his body back. They looked at some film when Milt was hitting 20 ground balls in a row, and they found out he was carrying his upper body in his arms, and he really had nothing left to swing with. So that's what they've been working on. First throw over on McCracken. Leiter's averaged about 4 or 5 on the fast guys of the Rockies, Young, Weiss, and McCracken. Doug Creek, a left-hander, joins Mark Dewey, right-hander. Dewey's pitched well against the Rockies this year. He's pretty tough on right-handed batters. Creek probably going in case it gets down to Vanderwall's spot in the batting order here.
How often does Dewey win?
Yeah, when he doesn't run against Truman.
You're quick. You're quicker than you look.
Well, I'm older than you. Thompson out to Thompson. All we needed was Mark Thompson pitching, but he wasn't. Rockies get 1 on the Galarraga homer. We move on to the 7th. 2/3 of the...
He faces Kurt Manwaring to lead off the Giants' 7th inning. And moving into the on-deck circle for San Francisco, Steve Scarsoni. So he'll bat for Leiter, the pitcher. Little looper out into center field. McCracken coming in. He's there now and 1 away in the 7th. 5-3 in favor of the Rockies.
Stick right here for your flagship station to catch Denver's first late-breaking newscast. Channel 2 News immediately following the Rockies game tonight. No one reports it better than Channel 2.
1 down, nobody on. Here is Scarsoni. Scarsoni used as a pinch hitter last night, and he is just 7 for his last 35. And you see what he is as a pinch hitter this year. Down too low from Holmes.
Pretty good compared to my career. Scarsoni 2 for 10 this year. I was 2 for 43, and I remember both of them.
Really?
Yep.
What were they?
Single and a triple.
Single and a triple.
3 RBI triple. Clinched second place for the Tigers in 1969. Guys were all happy because they knew they weren't going to catch Baltimore. At least they got them some second place money.
Yeah, you some second place money too.
Huh?
They cut you in on it?
Cash grant. Less than 100.
No respect.
Yeah.
No respect, huh?
No ring in 68. No respect in 69.
No ring?
No ring.
Oh, man.
It's all right. I was only there about a month and a half in 68 when the Tigers won.
Did you get a ring in '84 when you were broadcasting with the Padres?
Indeed.
Good.
Still wearing it.
Good for you.
Very happy to trade it in for a Rockies ring, though.
Yes, sir. 2-1 pitch. Scarsoni waves at a pitch out of the strike zone. It's 2-2.
Very happy to put one that says CR on it and put this one in storage. Scarsoni chased the bad pitch, but that high fastball don't give you long to look at it.
Here comes the old number 2, I have a feeling. Yep, and it's grounded weakly to Weiss. 2 out.
One drill that Gene Glenn was telling me about, and I really had never thought of it as good. He plays a game with his infielders called over the line. And he puts a line out there in the field, makes them play behind the line, and no matter how hard he hits the ball to them, they have to field the ball in front of the line. Thus, you get in the mode of always charging the ball. And one of the things Gene thought with Walt, one of the problems he was having, he was laying back on the ball too much. So they started playing in front of the line. I call it over the line. It's in front of the line again. And he charged that ball very well.
He sure did. Got a good hop. Amazing how many times you get a good hop when you
Well,
charge.
that's what Gene said. I mean, he said one thing the guys find out, it's amazing when you charge the ball how many good hops you do get.
2 out, nobody on for Marvin Bernard. He is 1 for 3. Led off the first inning with a single, but was stranded at first. Since he has grounded to Galarraga and flied out to center field.
Well, if Darren can get him, the Rockies have that front part of the order coming up again. They've turned it over 3 times tonight.
And every time that Eric Young has led off an inning, the Rockies have scored. He led off the first with the home run, led off the third with a walk and scored. So Eric Young keeping that E train on track, even though one of the main cogs on the E train, Ellis Burks, is sitting in the station. Strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Marvin Bernard. All the finals are in from the National League. Dave will run them down for you at the start of the next inning.
Doug Creek will be the new San Francisco pitcher, a left-hander.
Fouled off. Look out.
Creek would probably pitch to 2 batters. My guess is Don Baylor would probably pinch hit Ellis Burks for John Vanderwall, and at that point they'd probably bring in Mark Dewey, the right-hander, with Bichette, Castilla, and Galarraga behind. But I think Don wants Ellis in there for defense anyway.
Fouled off. In a 2-run game, good idea to get your best defensive players in there. Holmes appears to have things back on track. As I mentioned, he was sterling in that 7th inning after the rain delay. Struck out the first 2 guys he faced. The 2-2 pitch here, lifted foul, and again out of play.
Well, Darren's gone exclusively fastball to Marvin Bernard. He's waiting on the ball pretty well.
Might be time for Reed to flash number 2. Maybe he did. Holmes just shook him off on a pitch. Let's see what he goes with here. There is that breaking ball, and goodbye, Mr. Bernard. 1, 2, 3 go the Giants in the 7th. Stretch time at Coors. Young, a home run, a walk, 2 runs scored. Another RBI. Scarsoni has stayed in the ball game after pinch hitting. He goes to 3rd, and moving from 3rd to 1st is Matt Williams. Williams still checking out that shoulder, Dave.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. I mean, he injured the shoulder somewhat sliding into Walt Weiss, and I mean, unless we find out Peltier had some kind of an injury, I got to believe they moved Matt to first base just because of the shoulder problem. But that's just a guess.
The 2-0 pitch to Young is hit high in the air. The right fielder Jones going over in the corner, and he makes the catch in fair territory. 1 out in the Rockies' 7th.
Now, the Rockies would like to get some breathing room here in the 7th inning, because in the 8th, Dunston, Williams, and Bonds. That tough part of the batting orders.
Walt Weiss, he singled home a run his last time up. But Weiss probably turned in one of the best defensive plays you will ever see. This came in the 4th inning to end the 4th with Barry Bonds on at third base. Look at this play. That's a great angle of it, too, and a nice play by Galarraga to finish it. Fully outstretched with his foot on the bag. A little bunt. Scarsoni's got it. He bare hands. He makes a strong throw. Good play, Scarsoni. So Ellis Burks will bat for John Vanderwall here with 2 out and nobody on in the Rockies 7th.
And we'll see if Dusty comes out as advertised, and here he comes.
As soon as he is announced into the game, Baker will come in and remove Doug Creek.
Yeah, Creek got out his 2 guys, so for the April 13th game against the Mets, it was snowed out. Those tickets will be good for the 12:05 game coming up on July 23rd. And then the field and the stands will be cleared and cleaned, and the second game of the day, the split doubleheader, will begin at 7:05 with the gates opening at 6:05, and then the game the next day is moved to 7:05.
High fly ball playable in left center field. And Bonds is going to give away to Bernard, who makes the catch. And the Rockies go in. Darren Holmes and the Rockies. He'll be followed by Matt Williams and Barry Bonds. Dunston so far tonight 0 for 3. Rockies clinging to a 2-run lead. Pop foul. That one will find the seats. Williams still trying to stretch out that shoulder in that on-deck circle. Rockies hoping for their 7th consecutive win. The 7th consecutive win would apply to both consecutive wins starting not only here at home, but right before the All-Star break. The Rockies beat the Dodgers in Los Angeles, but it would also apply to the home streak. And that also started against Los Angeles in that 16-15 contest. The 2-1 pitch is hit in the air to right center field. Bichette going over, and in front of the warning track, he makes the play. That's a big out. That's a big out.
Well, again, we talk sometimes the way managers think, and by getting Dunston out, I mean, this is not a defeatist attitude. It's a realistic view by Don Baylor. Now the worst that Williams and Bonds can do is forge a tie if one of them gets on or if both of them homer. And that's not a negative attitude. That's just how managers think. When they look at the game, they know that Matt Williams and Barry Bonds are the 2 guys that can do the most damage.
Williams has struck out twice. He singled his last time up. A little blooper out to right.
He'll battle you.
Base hit. That'll bring up Bond. Double. A run scored tonight. Fastball committed 3 errors. Another fastball from Holmes, and it's 2-0. I mentioned Alex Rodriguez of the Mariners with the home run. I was reading today where he has a chance to have 100 runs batted in before his 21st birthday. 2-0 pitch is hit high in the air to center field. Very playable, though, for Quentin McCracken. Williams going halfway between first and second. He'll retreat. That's another big out. 2 gone now in the Giants' 8th. You might say that's a giant out.
Well, Darren went upstairs with heat again. And Barry trying to be quick, but it just rides up the bat, and Barry goes, oh, man.
So 2 out in the 8th inning. Dax Jones, the batter. As the Rockies try to add insurance in the 8th, they'll send up Bichette, Castilla, and Galarraga. Look out there. That one right up over the head of Jerry McMorris and up into the crowd.
I'm going to take a look at that play where Matt Williams injured a swing. You better be very alert behind first base.
Looking down there, and looks like again a foul tip. That one went off the glove and then up on the screen. Swing and a miss. He got him. So Jones goes down. 2 strikeouts for Holmes in 2 innings of work. X scoring double in the first inning, tried to stretch it to 3 and was gunned down in a perfect relay. He has struck out twice since. Inside 2-0. Milwaukee now has 20 against the Tigers, 20-4 in the 9th. Inside, ball 3. Looking ahead to that giant 9th, they would send up Robbie Thompson, then a pinch hitter, and then Kurt Manwaring. Those are the scheduled batters. Down too low. Bichette walks on 4 since the All-Star break. National League record of 7 or more. The Yankees share that record, and the Rockies trying to break it. A home run right here by Castillo would do just that and give the Rockies some more breathing room. This one hit into right center field. On comes Jones, though, to make the catch. Dewey paying close attention now to Dante Bichette. 12-5. Hit and run, and that one's fouled. Strike 1 to the Cat. Colorado 1. Jeff not going. Galarraga, a little looper. This one could fall for a hit, but it's fouled. It's a record that's withstood a lot of time.
Bill Dickey, I think.
Galarraga bluffed to move towards second. Stayed. I was looking for RBI total. There was Squiver off the end of the bat. Thompson to second for 1. The relay that gets away and on up into the crowd. That'll be a throwing error on Sean Dunston. Strike 2. Interestingly, that 7-game winning streak earlier this year followed a 7-game losing streak. 2 strikes to McCracken with 2 on, 2 out.
Do you agree the winning streaks are more fun to broadcast?
Yeah, a lot more. Up high and outside, a ball and 2 strikes. Oh yeah, always.
Nice not to have to look for silver linings all the time.
Inside, that's spin. And a strike from Ruffin. Strike 2. Right now it doesn't look like Ruffin's going to need help, but just in case. 0-2 pitch, and he couldn't check in time. Got him on a pitch out of the strike zone. One quickly gone. The conclusion to this series tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. Swing and a miss on the slider. Jamie Wright, the rookie, will be gunning for his first in San Diego. Did McCarty go around? Nope. On the ground, Eric Young's got a nice hop. 2 gone in the 9th. So the Rockies now 1 out away from their 7th consecutive win, and they can get to within a half game of first place in the West. Manwaring with an RBI single in the 2nd inning, but he's 0 for 2 since. And a high chopper cut off by Castno. No, Weiss has got it, and he guns him down. I thought Castilla had cut it off, but he didn't, and Weiss guns out Manwaring. Another fine play for Walt Weiss. And number 7 in a row is in the books, tying the club record. Boy, this has been a special homestand.
Well, this is almost like a screen in front of the goalie. Vinny reaches, but Weiss is right there. Doesn't let it affect him. Throw a little inside, but Cat, with that good agility again, stays on the bag. So a 3-up, 3-down inning, and this homestand has been special.
Fourth win in a row for a starter from the Rockies, and they win it 5-3. We'll come back and wrap it up in a moment.
Throw. Watch where this ball is placed for the receiver.
But does he have the foot down when he catches it? Judgment was the left foot down as he caught it. Well,
hard to know. Looks like he was out of bounds, really, Jim.
It really does.
They may have gotten away with one there, but you know, the guy right on the spot, he's got the best seat in the house.
52 seconds to go in quarter number 3, with Nebraska leading 42-18. Florida has just snapped that unbelievable streak that no one would have imagined would happen in this game tonight, where Nebraska rattled off some 36 unanswered points. So Florida rebounds with a score here in the final minute of the third quarter. 42-18. Onside kick consideration here for you.
With Steve Spurrier, you never know what's going to happen.
Kick away. And deep one, too. Damon Binning will set the Cornhuskers at the 20-yard line.
Cornhuskers first and 10 at the Nebraska
Tony George exchanging words. He was shaken up a little bit earlier in this game. Quentin Childs really getting into it and trying to keep the Cornhusker fans lively.
Jim, as a coach, what happens when you're this far ahead, you always have a gut feeling or a worry that you wonder, am I going to keep the momentum? Am I going to be able to keep my team on this roll? And conversely, when you're Steve Spurrier, you're wondering, can I get my team back into the game? A pass here, a pass there. All of a sudden, I can get back into this football game.
There's Clinton Childs, the third different tailback we've seen tonight. He was in on that last series also that resulted in a Frazier touchdown run. But again, he was the one who replaced Phillips in the third game of the season against Arizona State, and the first play for the Cornhuskers in that game. He went 65 yards for a touchdown, had 143 yards in the game before he injured a knee and lost the starting position to injury.
Well, all three of their tailbacks are over 7 yards per carry average.
Frazier adding more numbers, more yards to those big. Oh, they don't have him yet. Look at Tommy Frazier. How many tackles can one man break? Touchdown. 75 yards, put him over 200 on the night, a career high. What did he tell you about tackling?
Steve Spurrier made this statement: we have got to tackle well to win this football game. Steve knew, like every good football coach knows, when it comes down to a championship playoff game, you need to get your fundamentals. You need to execute your fundamentals. In this case, it's tackling. It's not that the Florida players don't want to tackle. It's not that they're not good enough to tackle. They're just having to tackle great players.
His second touchdown run of the night, 14 carries, make it 195, a career high. And this in his final game as the Nebraska quarterback, on his way to a 33-3 record as a starter. It's almost as though Florida thought the whistle had blown, but it hadn't. No one complained about it. I mean, he shook off of 4 tackles. Daniels, Wright, Weary. No one was left. This man was the MVP of the '94 Orange Bowl, the '95 Orange Bowl, and who do you think the favorite is to be the MVP at the '96 Fiesta?
He's going to get a couple votes.
That will end things in the third quarter. Riedel Anthony to the 36-yard line, but through 3, Nebraska 49, Florida 18, and CBS Sports coverage of the 1996 Fiesta Bowl continues after this message and a word from your local station.
Here's another clever idea from Plymouth. In the new Plymouth Grand Voyager, a seat is not only a seat, it's a table and a cup holder. It can come with a drawer, and one seat can convert into 2 reclining child safety seats. Overall, the Plymouth Grand Voyager seats are the best minivan seats on wheels. In fact, they're the only minivan seats on wheels. Clever idea. Plymouth Grand Voyager. It simply slides, folds, protects, unfolds, rolls, and drives better.
This is CBS.
Goodbye 95 with Ford's year-end clearance, because every Ford car and truck is clearance priced to move, including select F-Series trucks with air conditioning and no extra charge, plus 2.9 financing or $1,900 cash back on Bronco. Say goodbye 95 with no charge air conditioning on F-Series and 2.9 financing or $1,900 cash back on Bronco. Only during year-end clearance at your Rocky Mountain Ford dealer. What a way to go!
You can give a great gift this year with Western Pacific Airlines.
Ooh, shopping in New York City.
18 holes of Phoenix sunshine.
Western Pacific's Winter Wonder Fares. Our lowest fares of the year make great gifts to great destinations.
A romantic Malibu weekend.
Beat the system. Fly Western Pacific. Call now. If you think our theme jets look great, wait till you see our Winter Wonder Fares.
Flying on a Winter Wonder Fare.
Restrictions apply.
This is so much better than a sweater.
Sad, isn't it? Finding out you paid too much for your stereo. Circuit City, you can't find a lower price. We guarantee it.
Bill Stewart, only on News 4, Colorado's news channel.
CBS Sports presentation of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl is sponsored by Tostitos, the new Dodge, FedEx, and by Pepsid AC Acid Controller.
Florida keeps the starting group in at the 36 to start the fourth quarter, driving last time for a touchdown, and Terry Jackson swarmed right away by Terrell Farley and friends. Mike Minter, Christian Peter. Fourth quarter, they're saying on the Nebraska sideline, someone said, hey, let's really kick it in the gear now.
We're going to keep on pounding it on. We're going to keep on pouring it on.
Guys like that never play always do all that talking.
Yeah.
Canyon Copiers, the official copier and fax of the Fiesta Bowl.
2nd and 11. And Warfel down for a 7th sack. He's never been sacked that many times in his career. Grant Wistrom.
Loss of 9.
Grant Wistrom is a great defensive end with excellent speed. They believe that this guy will be the next All-American defensive end at Nebraska.
Well, some of your tips for Nebraska before the game?
Certainly, number 3, break Werfel's rhythm. The Nebraska defense has been able to do that tonight.
And I think points 1 and 2 apply also. Ball control, they've had it, and they've lined up properly also.
They've not given them a cheap touchdown.
How about an interception? 3rd one of the night. Tony Veland. Tony Veland, who at one time harbored hopes of being the starting quarterback at Nebraska. He was the #1 quarterback after the spring practice of '92.
This is just a nice athletic move by Tony Vreeland. The ball was laid up there, and he made the break on it and came up with the big interception.
He was behind quarterback Mark Grant in the spring of '92, but Grant broke a collarbone, so it gave him the job. And now in the fall, he ends up just a few weeks before the season opener suffering the same injury, broken collarbone. Found himself when he came back behind a guy named Tommy Frazier. So he moved him to defense to be able to play. And here's Phillips returning.
You know, Jim, I think one of the things that you have to keep in perspective is that Florida is the second-ranked team in the country. Danny Werfel is one of the best players ever to play quarterback in the NCAA, and here he is against this defense having a heck of a hard time. I think that speaks volumes about the Nebraska defense.
Second down and 4. And that tackle by Chester prevented Phillips from kicking it in gear. Johnny Rutledge pouncing on him also. A new attendance record at the Fiesta Bowl and the Sun Devil Stadium record also. Just 136 shy of 80,000. 79,864. 5,000 more than the previous Fiesta record when Notre Dame defeated West Virginia in 1989. Of course, the Super Bowl's coming up here in less than 4 weeks. Pitch, Phillips, well played. Well played by Anthony Lott. So they stop him this time. 3 downs and out. And let's go down to Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Jim, Ben Hanks, number 11, has been considered a very special player on this Florida defense all season. So special that when he came in as a high academic risk, Steve Spurrier actually went to the president of the university to get him admitted. And Hanks made such an impression on everyone with his work habits, both in football and in school, that Steve Spurrier took his own number 11 out of retirement to give it to Hanks. And when Hanks leaves after this game tonight, that number 11 will go on to another special player. Jim?
He has been a special one for Coach Spurrier, and look at this. Ball free, still down, and finally recovered by the Cornhuskers. So Jesse Cush came on to punt for the first time tonight. I was beginning to wonder if the starting punter was even going to be able to say that he played in the championship game. So Riedel Anthony couldn't handle it, and Nebraska's looking to add to this enormous total of 49 points.
"22 minutes, 16 seconds past the hour.
Bye.
Nice guy, James.
His name's William.
A familiar face.
Shall we tell him it's raining?
What, ruin his day?
A morning smile. An extra step. A touch of diplomacy.
Au revoir, monsieur. Ciao.
No, that was James.
It was William.
At 22 minutes past the hour.
Bridge is down. But it got here anyway, didn't it? Amazing.
Quietly, with little fanfare, the people of FedEx are using their know-how, determination, and heart to treat your package as if it were the most important package of all. Because to them, that's exactly what it is.
It was James, such a nice boy.
He is a nice boy, but his name's William.
If we violate the laws of physics, will we be punished? Well, we did. We gave Stratus a new type of tire that offers the tread life and enhanced fuel economy of a tire engineered for efficiency, yet sticks to the road like a tire engineered for performance. A clear violation of physical law. Thus far, there have been no legal repercussions. Dodge Stratus. It's full of answers. Now get 1.9% financing, 500 cash savings, or a low lease rate.
Consider credit card rebates, gasoline, airline miles, cars. Many can hold you down with restrictions or yearly limits. But not the Discover card. The more you use your card, the higher your cashback bonus award. And you're never restricted on how you can use cash. When it comes to rebates from the Discover card, the sky's the limit. It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
Nebraska's first punt of the night results in a fumble and a recovery by Brendan Holbein at the 22. Frazier saw option 1 close down, went for option 2, and Lawrence Wright jumped in front of Mark Gilman.
Pass tip by Wright.
Jesse Cush getting a little action at last, the punter.
Jim, this guy was a high school running back, rushed for 3,000 yards.
Have they got some players, some athletes?
He's probably the 8th-string tailback.
I'll tell you what, if this went about one more quarter, he'd probably get in the game, and he too probably averaged about 7 yards a run. That offensive line just so dominating. 2nd and 10. Pitch. Phillips doing a good job of grabbing that one.